Hello and welcome to a new episode of The Bike Show. I haven't said that in a little while, which is why I need to begin this episode with a big thank you to my colleague and friend and business partner Donovan, who, despite the hassles that he's also been facing with illness in his family, has been working his behind off creating content for the South African channel recently and generally keeping the rusty cogs of The Bike Show grinding along. Top fella he is, and I'm extremely grateful that he's been there to pick up the slack that I introduced into the Bike Show by my absence from anything work related for the past 5 or 6 weeks. Where have I been? Well, unfortunately, nowhere exciting, and none of the time has been spent riding over here in the European summer, which has turned out to be a scorchingly hot one. A terrible waste of riding opportunities, really, especially since I have my MT-09 parked in the garage next to KTM's 890 SMT that is a long-term loan from the Orange Men in Austria. I had so many great touring road trips planned for the SMT this summer, but unfortunately they've all been put on hold because, well, look away now if you're eating and you have a sensitive stomach. This picture sums up what I've been going through for a little over the past month or so. Allow me to provide some context. This is my new sunroof, fitted courtesy of a 6-hour operation to remove a rather large 4-centimetre tumour from my brain. About 6 weeks ago, after experiencing 10 days or so of blinding morning headaches, my wife finally persuaded me to go and visit my GP, who took a look at me, noticed that I also seemed a touch unsteady on my feet, and sent me to my local hospital for an immediate brain scan. The results soon came back. 8 tumours. Several of them rather large, and then it was off to see a specialist in my nearest big city with its neurological facility, where I was told I needed to have it removed or I'd be pushing up daisies in just a couple of weeks. Not much of a choice, so in spite of the obvious risks of the brain surgery, 3 days later I went under the knife, or more accurately, the skull saw. During the 2 days I was waiting at home for the surgery, things deteriorated pretty rapidly. I lost the ability to walk at all, even a couple of steps. My hands also stopped working, basically turning into claws, and I spent time with my wife and family who had travelled to France so we could say our goodbyes. As I'm sure you can imagine, it was rather an emotional time, to put it in a typically mild British way. The operation went well, though I have to say that after 19 broken bones from riding and racing, steel plates, pins, screws, and even some open heart surgery to fit me with a mechanical aortic valve, I thought I'd experienced pain before. But no, nothing has ever come close to how sore it has been getting this sunroof fitted. But this isn't a doom and gloom story. Despite this unpleasant hurdle in my life, I am actually, although far from cured of the remaining tumours, actually feeling pretty good and remarkably positive about what the future, however short that might be, whatever it might have in store for me. What I do know, a month in various beds has given me plenty of time to think, is that a lifelong passion for bikes has enriched my time on this planet more than I could ever have hoped. It has provided me with a living, taken me places I would otherwise never have visited, let me ride the latest, greatest two-wheeled machinery that mankind can currently produce, and more importantly, has given me opportunities to meet some extraordinarily special people along the way. Sure, there are the obvious ones, national and world champions that I've interviewed from various different racing classes, leading engineers and designers and the like, but I've also encountered equally exceptional individuals cut from more ordinary cloth who, without any factory backing, have performed nigh on unbelievable exploits on 2 wheels. It's the memories of these indefatigable individuals that have really helped me remain positive during what at times have seemed like the darkest hours. And even though I can't do any riding at the moment, at least until I get my license back after the OK from the doc, even a slow shuffle to the garage to look at the bikes gives me a proper burst of motivation to stay positive. The 890 SMT is a lovely bike, a seriously sporty all-rounder, and although I obviously can't film any new riding on it at the moment, I will get some footage of me rabbiting on about its specific touring abilities before the end of the week. I've already put in enough distance on it for me to have some valid opinions on the subject, that's for sure. The T in SMT stands for touring, if you didn't know, but over the past month or so, for me, it has morphed into T for therapy. The 890 Supermoto Therapy. If you're a biker, then I'm sure you can identify with that. We don't need to be ill to appreciate the therapeutic benefits of bike riding, even if we don't openly recognise it. I'm sure many of us hit the roads or trails because it brings us a joy and state of being that non-bikers have to search for through other more traditional, less adrenaline-fueled forms of therapy. I miss riding enormously, but reading about bikes, scanning my thankfully still intact memory banks for motorcycling content, and allowing myself to dream, perhaps naively, about riding and exploring on two wheels once again is very much part of my own mental preparation for the times ahead where my immunotherapy treatment may possibly hit me hard with some unpleasant side effects. Apologies for this long-winded intro. I just wanted to let you viewers, some of whom have been remarkably faithful to the show over the past dozen years or so, I wanted to let you know where I've been during this, my longest absence from professional motorcycling life in very nearly 30 years. And I also want to try and share how intrinsic biking has become to my very existence, and what a source of strength and therapy it has ended up being for me these past few weeks. Anyway, I'll leave you for now and go back to my daydreaming about when I might next go for a bike ride. So, cheers for now.